Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in again. Today we're going to be doing a prenatal flow. It's pretty gentle. We are going to get a little bit into strengthening the quads and opening the hips, but for the most part it'll be pretty gentle and hopefully applicable to all the pregnant mamas out there. So if this is your first video with me, congratulations first off. That's super exciting. I'm very excited for you. This is my first baby, first pregnancy. But yoga has been a huge part of it. I'm now towards the end in my 7th month. So I'm just happy I've been able to keep my yoga practice with me. It's definitely changed, but it's been a huge tool and a huge help. So I hope that this video is helpful for you too. I hope it serves you. So go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. The only props I'm really going to recommend for this video are going to be a blanket, and that's optional, but I do think it does help comfort levels. It'll be nice for your knees, nice for sitting on, like I'm sitting on it right now. So if you do have a blanket, it doesn't have to be a yoga blanket. It can even be a towel, just something that you can fold or roll and get the floor a little bit closer to you, and also add a little bit of padding. So if you are going to use that, go ahead and fold it, go ahead and sit on it, and then kind of come to the edge where you feel yourself rock off the edge. I like to even take it a step further and grab the flesh from underneath my booty and move it back so that you're really upright without having to try so hard to sit up nice and tall. Also, make sure you have water. Probably should have mentioned that a little bit earlier, but gotta drink lots of water. And I understand if you need to pause this video at any time and use the bathroom, or just take a break, or do this in sections, that's totally fine too. So do whatever your body is telling you to do. Always listen to your body. That is number one. Your body's your best teacher. So once you've found your water, your blanket, and your seat, go ahead and settle in. You can sit cross-legged if that's comfortable for you, and if it's not, find something that is. Maybe you want to open up the legs. Maybe you don't want to sit. Maybe you want to lie in a fetal position. It doesn't really matter how you transition in as long as you're comfortable. Whenever you've found that comfortable position, then allow your eyes to close. Tune into your physical space, getting really present and aware. I like to start with the sounds first. Usually maybe you have a nice relaxing playlist going on. If you're indoors, maybe you can hear a fan or air conditioning unit. And if you're outdoors, tuning into all of those beautiful noises. Naturally, we always notice the loudest sounds first, so see if you can take your awareness a little bit deeper. And notice some quieter, further away sounds. And if it's really quiet where you are, maybe you can even hear your own breath. So taking a moment to listen to that. And then getting into your sense of touch through your hands. So if your hands are resting on your legs, really feeling that connection. Noticing where the body is meeting the earth. So again, if you're seated, feeling your sit bones. Where is the body really feeling very supportive? Where is most of your weight going right now? And of course, tuning into how the body is feeling right now. And especially in pregnancy, but really any time in life, super important to be very vulnerable right now, very clear, very honest. How is your body feeling? Is there an area that has some discomfort or some pain that's been talking to you? Notice it. Is there an area that feels really, really good? Really strong, flexible? And since this is a prenatal flow, maybe you're just really happy to be housing this life, taking a moment to acknowledge that. Maybe your baby is moving and you're sensing that. taking your awareness a little bit deeper to your energetic layer. How is that doing? Are you feeling tired, energized, sad? Maybe a mixture of things. They can be seemingly opposite too. You can be feeling two things that seem like they shouldn't be happening at the same time, but they are, and that's totally normal and fine. You can be sad and happy at the same time. Giving yourself space to really check in. So tuning into that mental space, seeing if it's a little scattered or calm. Same thing with the heart space. Do you have some emotions? It's a very busy world out there, so just giving yourself some time to be really honest and aware of what you're feeling, and to really acknowledge each and everything that pops up. For me, it helps to close my eyes, so you'll see that I keep returning there to check in. And then lastly, if you haven't already, we're going to start to notice our breath, just how it is, as natural as you can let it be. In yoga, we always talk about how this practice isn't really about stretching or strengthening, it's more a union. And your breath is a really good tool to show what's going on. So rather than immediately fixing the breath or altering it, try to just use it as a transparency tool to see how you're actually doing. So noticing any texture, rhythm, the depth. We're going to lastly set our intention for our practice today. So whatever really brought you to your mat, maybe it's to be with your baby, to take care of your body, just to listen to your breath, whatever it is. You can even devote your practice to someone else or something else. Go ahead and float the hands to your heart, coming to Anjala Mudra when you're ready. Close your eyes again if they've returned to open. And just really visualize that intention. Visualize what it looks like on your mat, what it feels like. We'll take a cleansing breath here in through the nose. Open the mouth and let it go. You can release the hands as well, and we'll do 2 more of those cleansing breaths in through the nose. Audible exhale out of the mouth. Let the tension go. 1 more. Okay, let's get moving. When you're ready, inhale, sweep those arms out and up, lengthening through the spine. Palms meet overhead. Exhale through the heart center. You can keep using that cleansing breath if you're enjoying it, or maybe you start to integrate your Ujjayi breath or whatever deep breath you can use for your practice. Good, we'll do 1 more inhale, reaching out and up. This time we'll come shoulder distance. Palms are going to face each other. Take another inhale when you're ready. Lift up through your fingertips. And then as you exhale, tilt towards your right. Release your right arm and stretch on over. Just opening the side of your body here, really breathing in to that left rib cage. When you're ready, next inhale will float you up and out, back to center. Exhale, let's switch sides. And you don't need to come far down. Think more about really lengthening up. If you're inside, you can think about where the ceiling and the wall meet. Breathing into your right rib cage, feeling that expansion, especially on those inhales. Next inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale through your heart center again. Let's go ahead and switch now the foot that's in front or on top. And you'll notice that that might change things a lot. This might be your awkward side. So let's get reacquainted with our seat, get re-comfortable. That's not a word, but it should be. Inhaling, let's sweep the arms out and up again. Exhale, we're going to turn towards our right, really gentle twist. Release your arms wherever they comfortably fall. This back arm is going to help you lift up and stay nice and tall in your twist. And then your left arm here can just fall wherever it's comfortable and help you sink into your twist. Breathing into the twist as much as you can. This helps oil up our spine, move our digestive system along. Good way to warm up the body. Next, exhale, you'll slowly unwind from that twist. Inhale, sweeping out and up. Exhale, switch sides. Being mindful that this might need less, it might need more on this side. Notice how different your inhales feel from your exhales in a twist. One more really big inhale when you're ready. Exhaling, unwind. Let's take a moment to just shake in whatever way sounds good to you. You can shake your wrists, you can bring your legs out and shake those, releasing. I don't know about you guys, but my feet fall asleep really easily now, so it feels good to just get that blood circulating. Maybe you move in a sideways motion, just get that blood flowing. And then when you're done with that, we're gonna make our way to tabletop, so hands and knees. This is where that blanket might come really in handy. I'm gonna unfold mine and bring it underneath my knees for a little bit of extra padding. So knees underneath hips, wrists underneath shoulders. Make sure already, now that we have more weight on our bodies, we really want to take care of our wrists, right? So spread your hands really wide, middle fingers parallel towards the front of the mat. Connect as much of your hand to the mat as you can so you're not just putting all of that weight on the wrist. And we're going to find some movement here. So when you're ready, as you inhale, drop your chest, lift your tailbone, maybe the gaze lifts. And then as you exhale, press into the mat as you round your spine. These can move to your inner thighs, maybe your belly. Inhaling, arching the front of your body into your cow stretch. Exhaling and rounding into cat stretch. Moving with your own breath, taking this as slow or as quick as your body needs right now. Just feeling that spine come back into alignment. Just doing this in the morning and at night, I swear, can make such a difference if you're having a lot of back pain in your pregnancy. And it's so simple and it feels so nourishing. This is a good way to start your practice or your day. So let's come back on our next inhale to a neutral spine. We're going to come into child's pose, so open up those knees really wide. Make sure you're making space for baby. Tops of your feet are going to come to the mat or the blanket. Bring your big toes touching. Send your hips back. And then go ahead and walk those hands forward, resting your forehead down. Now, if your forehead is not coming to the mat, this is a good time to slide a blanket underneath your forehead or a block or whatever you have nearby. But you do want to let your neck rest when you come to child's pose. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths here. Feeling our lower back. Get a chance to rest. Our hips are opening. Maybe you're even stretching into the knees and ankles. The next inhale, we'll start to make our way back up to tabletop. This time we're going to find a little bit of intuitive movement. It's really important in pregnancy to be able to tune into your body and respond. So you can start with that cat-cow if you'd like, and then start to just feel out what the body really needs from here. You're completely supported with your knees and wrists, so it doesn't need to look like anything specific. Just move your body in a way that feels good. There's hip circles or wagging the tailbone right to left. Maybe you rest in child's pose again. It doesn't have to be anything I'm mentioning. Just something that feels really good. Getting primal. I feel like pregnancy is all about balancing that modern knowing with our primal knowing. Enjoying this time you have to just listen and respond to your body, integrating movement and breath into one. Let's take 3 more breaths doing this. Intuitive movement. And then we're going to be coming back to center when you're done. Again, a neutral spine, so notice if you're completely dipping in your lower back, you want to engage your lower core, draw your tailbone away from your head, and same thing with the neck. A lot of times we come here and we think dropping the head is neutral, but you want to keep the head lifted so that the back of the spine, or the back of your neck, continues from your spine. So a really nice long line into the spine. Really gentle core work here. Breathing into that space. All right, from here we're going to tuck our toes, lift our hips, and begin to find our first downward facing dog of our practice. And go easy on yourself. So open up those legs, always making space for baby. Bend into your knees, lift your sit bones, spread your hands wide, let your head hang if you need to shake it out, yes and no, a couple times to release any tension. Maybe you add some movement in your downward facing dog to just warm up and really arrive in the pose. You can try walking your dog out, bending one knee as you straighten the other. Even shifting side to side can feel really good. Opening up the lateral body even more here. Noticing how this pose probably feels different than it used to if you were practicing yoga before you became pregnant. And that's okay. It's a really good pose to practice. So breathing through it. Finding some comfort and ease by moving yourself around. Next, exhale, we're going to release our knees, and this time, knees are going to be hip distance again, but you're going to keep your toes tucked under. Start to walk your hands back towards your knees, pressing now onto those tucked toes. We're going to open up our feet. This is not the most comfortable thing, but I think it's super important. So we're going to stretch our feet. So you can pause here if this is already a lot of sensation for you, or if you can handle it, coming all the way up to sitting on your heels, opening through the bottoms of your feet, relaxing the shoulders, letting those feet open up. They get so swollen and tight and painful in pregnancy. This has been super helpful for me, so I hope it helps you. We're just going to tune into our breath. Relax the space between your brows. Relax the shoulders, the jaw, anywhere you might be holding on to some extra tension. Let's take another inhale, reaching those arms out and up. Exhale through your heart center. Inhaling, let's bring those hands forward, tops of the feet to the mat, shake them out. So if you tap the tops of your feet, you're like giving the circulation back, which can feel really nice. Enjoying that. And we're gonna do one more thing here in our tabletop. So we're gonna add on to that cat-cow movement, inhaling into the cow, exhaling into the cat. Now though, we're gonna add a pelvic floor exercise because it's shown to really help in the labor process. And even if you're having a C-section, this can still be really helpful for just having a healthy pelvic floor, which really all women should learn, not just pregnant women. So as you inhale, you're gonna release any sort of tension. As you exhale, you're gonna engage through the pelvic floor. Now, if you're not quite sure how to do that, those same muscles you use to stop urinating, that's what you're gonna engage. So if this is completely new to you, you might need to try it on the toilet. So you can pause the video and go pee. It's a good excuse. If it's not completely new to you, it might just be new to add movement to it, so you can do one at a time. But you'll notice once you start to add the movement to that pelvic floor exercise that they work hand in hand. The body wants to contract as you do it, so it makes sense. When you open up, it releases. And then as you press into the mat and engage through the pelvic floor, it contracts. Moving with your breath. Noticing which part of this is harder for you. So for some people, it's surprisingly harder for them to release the pelvic floor exercise. So it's also known as the Kegel. Some people think it's all about strengthening. It's also about being able to relax. And those are the same muscles that we're going to use in labor. So it's really a good thing to practice. So let's go ahead and do one more round. And then again, coming back to neutral spine, opening those knees nice and wide, coming back to our child's pose. Giving our wrist a rest. If you need to take a drink of water, now's a good time. And child's pose is also a good pose to always come back to if you need to rest. Noticing your breath, whatever you're doing. And then when you're ready, we're going to do one more pose that's sort of inverted. So it's a lot like your down dog, but it's actually called dolphin pose. So come back to your tabletop when you're ready. We're going to lower our elbows so that they're right underneath our shoulders. You can either bring your hands together in a prayer position, or you can press through the palms. I think it's easier though to start with your hands together, but feel out what feels best for you today. Same thing as down dog, you're gonna wanna tuck those toes, lift your hips, open up your feet, make room for baby, bend into your knees. So the tighter your hamstrings are, the more you're gonna need to bend into those knees. Press the elbows into the mat, feel those sit bones lift. Breathing here. So this is a really good pose if your baby is breeched and you want him or her to move before labor. For some reason, this pose really helps. So it may not be the most comfortable pose, but it is a helpful pose. So find a way to make it more comfortable for yourself. And breathe. One more deep breath here. I can feel my baby kicking like crazy. And then as you exhale, lower those knees. Again, come back to child's pose. Give yourself a break. Maybe you take some cleansing breaths to fully release. Let's take at least one more breath here. All right, we're gonna take it up a notch. So as you inhale, come to your tabletop. As you exhale, flip those toes, find your downward facing dog. You're probably feeling a little bit warmer now, so you can take it closer to your edge, but because your ligaments are extra loose in pregnancy, you always do want to be mindful and go a little bit more gentle on yourself than you might normally. Taking a deep breath here. We're going to walk those feet together to the center. Inhale, lift through your right leg. And then as you exhale, take your right leg all the way through towards your hands. You might need to pick it up and move it. You can also come to the outside of your right hand if you need more space. And we're going to make our way to our warrior two. So you're going to lower that back heel. As you inhale, windmill yourself up. Exhale, sink in. So when you look down, you want to see toe-heel arch alignment, ideally. If that doesn't feel right to you, change it. You know your body best. All right, so sink into that front knee. Let those hips open up to the side. A good way to check that is if you bring your hands to your hips, they're not facing the front of your mat, but they're opening up to this left side of your mat, basically. Sinking into that front knee, left leg is straight. When you're ready, float those arms out to a T shape. Now, if you feel like you're really leaning forward, see if you can use the energy through your left fingertips and pull back. Sink a little deeper into your front knee. See if you can relax your wrists. Bring your gaze over that right hand. Our drishti, our focal point, is right over our right middle finger. Building up those quads to hold the baby's weight. Breathing through it. Good. Next inhale, we're going to lift through that front leg. Lift our arms. Turn both toes forward now. If anything, now you want your toes pointed slightly in, heels pointed slightly out. Take another inhale, reaching up. Exhale, let's come halfway, leading through the crown of your head, slightly bending into those knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, halfway down. Nice long spine, open heart. We'll do one more. Exhale, this time come all the way down to your wide-legged straddle fold. So let your head hang, and then your arms are going to be up to you here. If you want, you can move that blanket just to the side if it's kind of in your way. Arms are up to you. You can bring your peace fingers to your two big toes, letting your elbows come out to the side. You can turn your fingers towards the back of the body and stretch into your wrists here. You can also just let your arms relax. Whatever feels nourishing and right for you in this moment. And then return to your breath. Letting that blood circulate to your head. Letting yourself be upside down for a little. Opening through the hamstrings. Good. From here, we're going to come halfway up by bringing our hands underneath our face. I like to do parachute fingers, so it's just fingertips to the floor. As you inhale, press into those fingertips, come halfway up, nice long spine. Exhale and fold. We'll do two more of those. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, fold. One more. From here, we're going to walk our hands towards our left toes as we turn those toes forward. Straddling that left foot now. Lowering the right heel. Setting up for your warrior two now on the left side. When you're ready, right arm's going to help you windmill up with a big inhale. Exhale, sink into your warrior two. So again, you can look down, check your alignment, check your hips. Notice if you're leaning forward. Your knee is safe as long as it's not going over the ankle. Relaxing the wrists. I like to also hug the shoulder blades together so your heart feels open. And we settle in. Even though this is a challenging pose, especially with that added weight, we use our breath to find some comfort. To feel our strength, feel our power. It's a good tool to use when you practice for those contractions. To breathe through any discomfort. Notice if this side feels different from the first. We usually favor one side. Good. One more breath here. Sink a little deeper if you can. Good. Inhale. Stretching up through that leg, nice and tall through the arms. Turn those toes forward again. We're coming through straddle fold. This time as you exhale, you can come all the way down, leading with the heart. Hands are underneath to support you. Let that head hang. Maybe you find some gentle swaying motion here. Kind of a ragdoll. You don't want to bounce or do anything too crazy. So settling in here for just 3 more breaths. Lengthening out this last breath as long as you possibly can. And we'll start to come up, again bringing those hands underneath our face. This time though, we're going to start to heel toe our feet towards each other, not all the way together. And then you're going to want to pause when you're a little bit wider than hip distance. Notice my toes are pointed slightly out, and we're going to be coming into our squat, our malasana. So you might just need to experiment a little with your own width here of how wide you want to take your feet. If your heels are lifting off the mat, that is totally okay. They don't have to come down. What you do want to make sure though is that once you drop your hips down, your sit bones release, and you can lift your heart. So if that means lifting your heels, that's fine. A little trick is you can grab your blanket and put it underneath your heels. If you have a block, you can also put that underneath your sit bones. If not, you can just fold this blanket a little bit thicker and put that underneath your sit bones. And then you can get really comfortable in your squat and not have to hold yourself up. Just options though. Other options, you can keep your hands on the ground if you want to like lean forward, or you can bring your hands behind you if you want to lean back. Using the support that you have. If you are reaching back, make sure you're allowing your shoulders to come back, the heart to open. Breathing into that space. If you want to go for the full malasana, you're going to bring your hands to heart center. Use your elbows to gently press your knees and hips open here. Again, releasing through the sit bones. And for me, the hardest part is always finding some length in the upper body, in that upper spine. So lifting into your heart. Notice if you're really leading with your chin here, that's really common. And experiment by dropping the chin and lengthening through the back of your neck, seeing what feels right to you, of course, but just not overworking the neck. And then settling in, we're going to take a lot of deep breaths here. This This is like one of the most natural labor positions. And again, it's really just good for you. Even if you're gonna have a C-section, even if you're not planning on laboring naturally or without medication, it's good for your pelvic floor once again. It's good for digestion. All of the things that we need to focus on throughout pregnancy, throughout motherhood. Using that breath to settle in. If there's a particular part that you're really feeling in this pose, allow your breath to travel there. And let's take one more deep breath here. All right, and then if you haven't yet, you're gonna come back to actually sitting on your sit bones. So if you were on the blanket, you're gonna wanna unfold it at least once. You don't want it that thick. And we're gonna be coming to a seated posture all the way. And we're gonna come into half of our dragonfly stretch. So go ahead and bring that right foot in, bending at the right knee. Lengthen through your left leg and flex really strong into that left foot. Sitting up nice and tall. Again, you might want to take the flesh from underneath your booty. Come to the edge of the blanket if you are sitting on one. Getting nice and comfy here. We're going to start by sliding our left arm down the left leg. Right hand comes to your lower back. And notice I'm peeling open the shoulder, keeping the heart nice and open towards the ceiling or the sky. So I really like to pause here. You can connect the palm to your lower back and really feel the warmth, feel that energy. And then if you want to take it deeper, then take that right arm up, or you can even come all the way over towards the toes. But again, you always want to keep space for baby. So you don't want to crunch this side, stay nice and long. Breathing into whatever position you've chosen with the arms. Good, next inhale, our right arm will help us float up and out. As you exhale, begin to turn your torso towards that left leg now. So sometimes you need to readjust the legs or your sit bones ever so slightly. And what we're gonna do here, again, make sure that foot is flexed. Inhale, press into your fingertips as you lengthen your spine. Exhale, begin to come towards that straight leg. Now you can keep the spine pretty long, or you can keep folding all the way down. Just make sure that we're not pulling or bouncing here. This is a deep stretch, so you want to be nice and gentle on your body. Coming to your breath. Every inhale, you can think about your heart extending towards your foot. Every exhale, you can sink into the stretch. Feel the release. Feel the body making space. One more full cycle of a breath here. We're going to get into a little movement here. So as you inhale, lift through the right arm. Bring it behind you as you lift your left arm. And then as you exhale, come right back to that stretch. Inhale lifts you up, reaches you back. Nice long lateral stretch. Exhale here. Now you can keep doing that, or you can add even more movement. After you inhale, press into that right arm behind you. Lift through your hips. Your left foot will come to the ground. And then exhale back. So that's if you need to stay warm, if you want to add more to your practice, more dynamic movement, or you can keep it simple, doing what we were doing before, whatever works for you. Let's do one more. And then slowly walk your hands back up towards your body. Sit up nice and tall. And we'll just switch sides. Make your way there mindfully. Readjust sit bones, whatever else needs readjusting. And we'll start by sliding right arm down that straight leg, flexing into the right foot, opening the heart, peeling open that shoulder, using your breath and figuring out where you would like your top arm to go. It could be different from the other side, so don't feel like you have to do the same thing, only if that feels like what your body really needs. Notice your breath and see if you can deepen it or lengthen it at all. Next inhale floats you up, back to center. Exhale, turn your torso now towards the straight leg. Inhale, extending long through the crown of your head. Exhale, take it down just to however far you want to come. Remember that you don't always have to round the spine. You can still get a really good stretch just by reaching through that heel. Using your breath. If you haven't yet, you should go watch the Ujjayi breath video that I posted. That can be really helpful for your video or for your practice. For my video, it's helpful. Especially in these more passive poses, it's nice to have a specific breath practice to turn to. And it keeps your body warm. All right, let's start to flow. When you're ready, inhale, reach back with that left arm, lift through the right. Exhale, windmilling down, back to our stretch. Moving with your breath, deciding if this is enough or if you'd like to add a little bit more. If so, you know what to do. We're pressing and lifting, connecting those right toes to the floor. Exhale, still takes you down. You can do a little bit of both too. Enjoying moving your body. One more cycle. Slowly make your way up. From here, we're gonna go for the full dragonfly. So I'm gonna scoop my blanket back so that once I open up both of my legs, my feet are still on the mat. To me, that's the most comfortable because it has some padding for your feet. So that's one option, to make sure your feet are on a mat. And if they don't fit on the mat, you can always slide a blanket under each heel. That's another option. Again, readjust your sit bones, coming onto the edge of that blanket, sitting up nice and tall. And then in dragonfly, we're gonna start with the feet flexed. If they start to go passive, that's okay. Bring your hands behind you as option number one. Press your pelvis forward. Let your heart come forward as your shoulders come back. Breathing into this. You're gonna feel that stretch into your inner thighs. And your back is not having to take any of that stretch. So if you're sitting a lot in your day, especially if you're in a rounded position a lot, this might be the best option for you. But if you do want to take it deeper, you're going to bring the hands out in front now. Again, there's always the option to keep that spine really extended. Or if you want to round, you can come down to the forearms. Or if you're not super far along, your belly might have room to come all the way down. If you're practicing at home and you have props, you can grab a bolster. This is always like so comfy to have a bolster right underneath you and to turn your head and just nuzzle onto it. It's really comforting. But wherever you are, we're gonna settle in. This is a yin posture, resting butterfly or dragonfly. Opening through the hips. Finding that breath again. Oftentimes our breath can also show us in each pose that if we've gone too far, maybe the breath can't really move as much as it was before, or if the breath is really inhibited in any way, we know that we might have gone a little bit too far. So that's another way our breath can be a good tool. Let's take one more deep breath together here, in through the nose and out of the mouth. Then when you're ready, we'll slowly make our way up and out of this posture. It's normal if the legs are a little sore since we held it for a while, so go ahead and use your hands to bend at the knees, bring the legs together, and then we're gonna release from that pose, from our practice in general. Shake it out, whatever you need to do. Love, pat it out, get some circulation going, and then it is time for our final relaxation. So it is up to you how you want to get set up. It's usually not advised once you're in your second trimester to be flat on your back for too long. So if you do have a bolster or a way to prop yourself up, that's a good idea. And if not, you can lay on your side in a fetal position if you can get comfortable that way. You can stay seated, really however you feel comfortable to end your practice, but we do want to take a moment to find some stillness, let the practice sink in, and give ourselves just some time. So, choosing whichever posture you'd like to choose, I'm going to stay seated to talk you through this. Go ahead and let your eyes close. And as you're tuning into your body now, you're really just letting your body take over. We call it Shavasana, corpse pose, because we come as close to death as possible. So we're not controlling the body anymore. We're not controlling our breath. We're just letting it be. So let your body really sink into whatever posture you've chosen, relaxing as many muscles as you can. I like to use my exhales to feel heavier, feel the effects of gravity. We're going to let our natural breath take over. And we're just going to take a moment to be with baby. So wherever your baby is at in his or her development, maybe you want to take your hands to your belly to physically connect. Or you can just mentally imagine where they're at in their development. What have they been doing lately? Getting visual with wherever they're at. And then take this moment to, if you could, talk to them, to send them a message, right? So you can say this out loud if you're comfortable with that. Or if you're somewhere you don't want to say it out loud, you can just send them the message. Whatever you want them to hear, whatever you want to say to them. Just taking a moment to connect to your baby, to this precious life that you're housing and growing and building every day. And then the last thing we're going to visualize today is that day that you finally get to meet your baby. So notice where you are, the energy in the room. And then when you look down, you're seeing your baby for the first time, making eye contact, hearing their first cry. And as you lift them up to your chest, you start to smell them. And just enjoying this moment of really being with them. And then coming back to your own body. And just letting yourself rest. We all know the mommas-to-be really need lots of rest. And it's hard to get it sometimes, so take this time to truly rest. Not only your body, but give your mind a rest too. And if you notice the thoughts trailing off and getting busy right away, then just use your breath to interrupt those thoughts. And drop back into this space of presence and awareness. Doing that as many times as it takes. Now I'd like for the mamas out there to just take as long of a Shavasana, a final relaxation as you can. So if you want to pause this video or close it out and just take a really long rest, feel free to do so. And if you are ready to get out, then I want to just thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this is something that you can return to or share with your other pregnant mama friends. So keep taking care of yourselves and listening to your body. Namaste.